Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Anyone out there? You can hear. Okay. All right. I've haven't done this with this setup before, so I'm just seeing what I can do. So I'm getting set up. Uh you're not going to look at my face this whole time. Sorry. Yeah, you're going to look at spiders instead. So let me fix this back up. Get the workspace in the field of view. Clamp that down. Okay, less of me, more of this green pad. And my extremely cluttered, messy desktop here. Okay, so here's the deal. I ordered some spiders and I had a little bit of a panic yesterday because they did not arrive when they were scheduled to. And so I had to be patient and I waited and they arrived just this afternoon. So I finally got them around noon and they're all healthy and fine. So that's the first good news. I was a little concerned that the delay might have consequences, but they seem to be all right. So before I unveil the spiders, I will just say a few things about raising spiders. So I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and there's a whole bunch of strategies for raising them. And let me start over here. If you have lots of money, you can go this route. These are extremely nice. This is from Tarantula Cribs. Um, they're really nice solid plastic. They got little magnetic clips to hold it on so they're open. This one I happen to have thrown in an egg that I'm using to make a little hide for it. This one eventually I'm going to use for a jumping spider, a large jumping spider. But you can see, look how thick this stuff is. It's like they were afraid the spiders were going to have a breakout here. They're not going anywhere in here. It's a very nice little bit of housing, though, but totally impractical. If you want to set up some spiders that look lovely and to show off how much you pamper them, yeah, go ahead. But these things are like $35, $40. So that's not practical for me because I'm raising spiders and moss, just lots of spiders. So this wasn't going to do. The normal way I raise spiders is like this. Okay, so what I've got here, these little vials. Um, I ordered about 1,000 of these, so I have a maybe 1,500 now. I have lots of these little vials. They are a nice size for raising baby spiders, and they have to be efficient and small because when spiders hatch out, they produce lots of little baby spiderlings. And one of the first things I have to do is pull out a paintbrush and carefully separate them out and put one spider in here and one spider in here and one in a bunch of other tubes. So I've got lots of these. And that's generally the way I'm raising spiders in the lab. They go into these simple little tubes and then into a test tube rack, which I can put in an incubator. Uh, this test tube rack holds 21 of those tubes. And since you generally get close to 100 baby spiders with each egg sac, that means if I've got 4 or 5 of these, I can take care of one egg sac. So you can see why this is impractical. I don't want to have to go buy 80 to 100 of these expensive things for my huge horde of spiders that I'm raising. Also in here you see, I also went out and bought a bunch of these little atomizers. They were cheap. I don't remember how much, but yeah, they were cheap and easy, and that's what I use for misting all the little babies. So I'll open this up and then I'll give them a little spritz, just to keep their humidity up. Um, I'll mention that the source I got for these tubes was US Plastics, and you can buy things in bulk from there. That's probably not what most people are going to want to do. That's a little exorbitant, right? You just want to raise spiders. You got kids who want to raise spiders. You're not going to go out and spend a big chunk of money to get 1,000 little plastic tubes that then you have to store in your house because you probably don't have a big lab to keep them in. But that's how I handle that. So let me get these out of the way. What I'll generally do is raise them in those tubes, and then when they get a little larger, they go into these things. These are 2-inch by 2-inch clear plastic boxes. You can get them at a craft store. That's where I first got a bunch of these. Was you can also get them on Amazon, of course. They're kind of handy because they are transparent all the way around, uh, so you can open them up and you can then take photos of your spiders right in there and get good lighting and all that kind of good stuff. So these couple bucks each. I think if you go to the craft store, you'll look in the section where they are selling beads. People use these for storing little tiny beads, colorful beads, and I use them for storing spiders, of course. So I'll grow them first in the tubes, then eventually they get moved into these things because they're a little bit more spacious. And then when they make it to adulthood, and I should mention, not all of them make it to adulthood. It's a brutal world out there, and half to three-quarters of the baby spiders from a clutch, even with the best of care, are going to die on me. Just can't stop them. And these spiders also get really well fed. So the other thing I do is I raise fruit flies, wingless fruit flies. So they get some of that twice a week. I feed them a batch of wingless fruit flies. When they get a little bigger and can handle it, they also get mealworms. I'm raising a bunch of mealworms in a terrarium in my in my backyard, actually out there in my sunroom. So they're all growing out there. Mealworms are really easy to raise. Just put down a base of cornmeal, throw in some of the mealworms. They'll start eating that. And then every once in a while, I throw in table scraps, and they turn into beetles, and they lay more eggs, and then they get more mealworms. We've never run out of mealworms. So those are easy, and that's what we use for feeding these guys. Okay, when they get to adulthood, full adulthood, and I'm ready to start breeding them, this is what I'm using in the lab now. I used to use bigger shoebox size containers, but the adult spiders would just find a corner, they'd build a cobweb in that corner, and they'd never leave it. So it's like most of the space was wasted. So I got built these things. Um, these are also nice because they reassure my colleagues that the spiders are really tightly sealed up. You can see it locks in place and all that. That's always good for people who are afraid of spiders. And then what I do is I get some coffee stirrers and I make these simple little frames and I put them in there. This is not going to show up on this camera, but this one actually is a nice little cobweb stretching across the frames. So it's just so that they have something a little more natural than plastics to build their home in. So yeah, then I'll put the adults in here. I'll feed them regularly, mealworms and fruit flies, the same thing. And eventually we'll breed them and then they'll start laying egg sacs. And they put the egg sacs in here just dangling from the wooden frame. so they're easy to spot. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just leave them there for a while because the mama spiders actually care for the egg sacs. They will sit there right on top of it and protect it. And I think that helps. Maybe it helps with the psychological well-being of the babies. So anyway, they're all thriving in there. And so I got a bunch of these in the lab. As you can see, they lock up nicely. Nobody's escaping here. I do have some air holes drilled in here, but they're so small that the adults cannot get through here. Okay, so what am I doing today, though? I've got some new spiders, and I've made a somewhat fancier container for raising them in. So let's bring these guys over here. Here's our spiders in a box. Here, for example, is one of my new containers. Uh, these are available on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. They're $5 or $6 each. They're called critter keepers, and they're for raising small lizards and things and mice and everything. I actually have a huge supply of these because I used to work on zebrafish, and these were the tanks I raised my zebrafish in. Yeah, just a whole bunch of these. Um, a bunch of them that I got back in the lab, they have small holes, drainage holes for the outflow of the aquarium water. I grabbed the ones that I hadn't yet drilled and brought those in. So see, they're nice. They're about the right size for the spiders I'm about to haul out here. And what I've done is I put in a layer of Reptisoil. That's a commercially available mulchy sort of soil that's good for clinging to the moisture because we want to maintain a reasonable humidity in there. And I threw some sticks in there. And also I've got some frog moss. So the frog moss is there to, again, provide for humidity and give them a nice little green spot to hang out in. You can also see I've decorated with skulls. Seems appropriate for black widows. So I got a couple of skulls in there. Then also they are covered with a loose gravel. Once again, a vestige of my past days as an aquarist raising zebrafish, because I got a lot of this stuff. I got these nice calcium rich gravel that I'm using here, and there's also some brown stuff that's just standard aquarium gravel. So it just means I've got something I can use here for raising them. And then of course this has a nice little lid on it, clips into place. I got to tell you, my wife was a little bit concerned when I told her I was getting black widow spiders. And she was very worried that are they going to creep out of here? Are they going to escape and fill up our house with little baby black widows? Uh, no, I think it's pretty tight. I'm not worried. As you'll see, there's no way these spiders are going to fit through these little slats. They just provide lots of ventilation. Uh, I also am taking care because I don't want to be the guy who introduced black widows to the science building. So they are not going to be allowed to get loose. I'll keep an eye on them. Don't worry. Yeah, we already have a prior faculty member who has a reputation because she released cockroaches into the science building. We don't have much in the way of cockroaches in this part of the world. It's too cold for them. But our science building is well populated with lots of cockroaches because I don't want to be the one who goes down in history at the University of Minnesota Morris as the one who brought the black widow population into the science building. Okay, so let's do the unveiling. You want to see a black widow? Let's see, look at these guys. They're gorgeous. This is the reason I got these guys is um, in the lab, I work with Steatota and Parasteatota, which are the local variants of the false widows who live around here. So they're all in the family Theridiidae, And black widows belong to that family as well. They're not native to this area, but what they may represent to me is kind of an outgroup. So I've got a population of very different spiders that I can grow here in the lab and see how they do. So let's let them out. Oh, look at him or her. This is almost certainly a female. She's wandering around curiously. See if I can get this in focus. Now you can see her. So big plump belly. She's got the little red markings underneath. She wants to come visit me. Yeah, these guys aren't scary at all. So now I put her in here. She's exploring already. From my previous experience with black widows, man, they put out a lot of silk. So this one will probably just layer everything in lots and lots of silk. Again, you can't see her very well now anymore, can you? Oh, there she is. Yeah, she's down in here. She's already nestling in there. What I'll next do is I'll leave her alone for a day because I want her to start spinning silk and making web in here because one of the curious things about these spiders is they don't like their food just wandering around free. They prefer to capture and eat stuff that lands in their webs. And there's no web here yet, so we got to give her some time to fix that up. Anyway, she's lovely. I'm very happy with that. Uh, you might be wondering what is her name. Her name is going to be Earther. Anyone out there happen to recognize the name Earther? Maybe. We'll see. Once I bring out the others, maybe it'll start to fall into place. Okay, now for my wife's state of mind, I'm just going to clip this down pretty solidly. It's not going anywhere. It's got a nice little handle. It's got this clear top so I can open it up. This is where I will dump in food for this spider later. We got some more to look at. Let's see, get another container ready. Okay. So this one's got a lot of junk in it. These spiders want to burrow in and they want to get under things. In the wild, what you'll typically find them is under rocks or under bits of bark or tree wood just lying around. And so you see I've got some bark in here and a bit of a dried out bit from one of the bushes around here. And there's some frog moss and again the aquarium gravel underneath. And you might notice these little cute little guys that I found. Got a kind of Princess Mononoke vibe, right? Okay, we got another female here. So here she is. Again, big and plump and very healthy looking. She's looking a little agitated, so let's take it gently. Don't get excited, guys. She has thoroughly webbed up the container as well. So yeah, look how sticky that is. Black widows really build amazing silk refuges in there. And again, there she is. Come on, come on. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Yeah, she's a little bit calm here. Here's a stick. You want to get on that stick? She's thinking about it. One of the other nice things about working with spiders is they are such calm little beasties. Seriously, I never worry about them escaping or running away or causing trouble. Once they've got a refuge all set up, that's where they'll stay. They don't do much exploring. Um, And she's already, where is she? She went into the moss. Yeah, she's there. So I'll just leave her alone again. She will web up the place. And let's take a look at the third one that I got. So I just got three black widows. I was thinking if I get three, it's unlikely that they'll all be one sex. So I can probably breed them. Anyway, yeah, so there. That looks good. Set that aside. Make a nice home. And then finally, uh-oh, come back. Come back. Oh, okay, still good? Yeah. Come back. Here we go. So I got another one. This one is Oh, I should mention the last one has a name too. That's Verthander. Anyone figure out what that refers to yet? I'll explain in a moment. Okay, the third one. The third one looks a little different. Okay, here we go. Come on out. Also looks kind of busy here, scurrying around. And I'm pretty sure, oh, there she goes. There he goes, excuse me. I'm pretty sure this one is a male. So much more slender, longer legs. It looks very masculine to me. So that's a he. And he is running around a little bit, but he'll settle down and he'll also make a little web. And then maybe I'll breed them. We'll see. Thing is, these are wild caught black widows. So those females might have already been fertilized. And so that makes you kind of useless, guy, or superfluous at least. We'll see. Anyway, so this guy I'm calling Skulder. And the three spiders in my batch here, I'm naming after the Norns. So we got Scandinavian names for these guys. Okay, yes, tame on. They can eat the cockroaches. Would you eat cockroaches? Cockroaches always look so unappetizing to me. But maybe they would. I don't know. Okay, latch you guys down. Okay, everyone's sealed up nice and tight now. Uh, well ventilated. I'll let them make silk for a little while. I'll probably give them a spritz of water because I want to keep the humidity up reasonably well. I generally hope to get them up around 30 to 40% humidity, and then they'll thrive, I hope. So that's it. It's a successful order of spiders that have come in. These came from an organization which doesn't have a very good reputation, but they were cheap. That's a terrible reason to get these, but this is from Underground Reptiles, so I'll at least mention that little plug for them. And I felt fairly confident ordering them because, yeah, I would never buy a reptile from them, from what I've heard. But I figured, yeah, how can you screw up a spider, right? You just got to catch a spider, throw it into a container, mail it out. It should be no problem. And yeah, it was fine. There just no problem at all, except that it was a little bit delayed getting here. Also, I would never order spiders in the winter for obvious reasons. If this were January, that 1 day delay would probably have been fatal for them. But as it is, there they are, doing fine. I don't know how well I can get. Yeah, he's up in this corner here, looking a little bit intimidated, uh, but we'll give him time. So again, like I said, they'll make lots of cobwebby stuff in here, really sticky. The webs that I was finding in these containers were really thick and sticky. So that's kind of what they do. And so they'll make those. And once they've got a little bit of webbing in there, I will probably throw a mealworm in for these guys and let them chow down. See how much bigger they get. The last black widow I had was doing fine and then abruptly died. I don't know why. I'm a little afraid that maybe I overfed her. So these are going to get fed maybe once, maybe twice a week if they look hungry. You can tell if a spider is hungry by looking at their abdomen. If it starts to shrink up, shrinking up abdomen, that means they haven't had enough to eat. If they're looking really plump, and these guys all look really plump right now, so we'll see how they do. Now I have to go reassure my wife that, look, they're not going anywhere. They all look safe and locked up, and they're causing no problem at all. And we'll only have to worry if they start laying egg sacs and I get swarms of little baby black widows. An egg sac, easily 100 babies pop out of this, and they are tiny. And the babies could go through these little slats in the lid. So if I see an egg sac, I'll have to fish it out quickly and put it in one of these other containers that I showed you earlier that are a little bit more sealable. Okay, any questions? Because if not, I just wanted to do a quick live video and show you my new little friends. And now you've seen them. Once I get these into the lab, I'm at home right now. Once I get into the lab, I got all the gear to take close-up photographs of them, and you'll probably see those photographs appearing on my blog and on my Patreon page. That's patreon.com/pzmyers. Those will appear in the next week or so, and you can get a closer look at them. And I assure you, they're gorgeous. They're lovely. Okay, if there are no questions, I'll let you all go. Yeah, I'm gonna fire up I got a couple of planned videos that I'll get together in the next few days. So yeah, the channel will be alive this summer. We'll see how it goes in the fall because, oh man, I'm teaching a new course again. I may have nervous breakdowns, but nervous breakdowns on video, that's always entertaining, right? So we'll see. Okay, so long, everybody. Oh, I should turn that up. Yeah. So long, everybody. Talk to y'all later. Hope you had fun. Raise your own spiders. If you're anywhere living like in Iowa or more south, you've got black widows. You can go catch your own and raise them. They're all over the place. Here in Minnesota, we're kind of out of luck. Okay. So long. Thanks for stopping by.